Okay, well now for the long-awaited event, my cousin, Mario Davila, was born in Reynosa, Tamaulipas. He lives in McAllen and has earned degrees from Western Illinois University and UTPA. Having worked 31 years combined in the military and public service, he currently engages in research and book projects on the areas of Northeast Mexico and South Texas. So without further ado, Mario Davila.
First of all, my thanks to the organization, Ms. Torres, Ms. Olson, Mr. Cantu for inviting me. More than anything, it's an honor for me to be given an invitation to present this topic. Quick question, is this mic on?
Yes,
Yes, it is?
it is.
Do I need it?
No.
Okay, that's what I was checking. Okay, so basically, I've prepared a little presentation. It's about, I'm going to say, an hour long. It's going to go for 2 30-minute stretches, and I guess we'll get right into it. The topic is the Libro de Matrimonios de Reynosa, or the Reynosa Marriages book. And there's my little hashtag. Shows I'm technology conscious. Okay? And the presentation outline, I'll tell you a little bit about myself, about researching Reynosa, little general history. I'm going to do an abbreviated section on that than what the slides show, but some important stuff that I considered. The main topic, which is the book, features, fun facts, demo, and then some projects that are in the works. I don't know what that means. The top part, that's a tribute to my French ancestry, of which I have none. So therefore, that's my best French. Calling it a brief 2-hour intro. Of course, this whole presentation is about 45 minutes. And here I am, born in Reynosa. I was raised in McAllen. As you heard, I was in the Army. I spent 1/5 of my life in college. It's hard to believe, but yeah. I spent the majority of my professional time in the McAllen Fire Department. I'm married in McAllen. My beautiful wife is Martha. I have 2 college-age kids. My desk. It's official notice. Postponed until further notice. This is not a solicitation to make this happen. All right. Question is often put to me as to why Reynosa? Why did you research Reynosa? And when I was out doing my family research, this is what I would typically encounter when I was at the libraries. It seemed like everything was in the libraries except...
Is it working? Okay. Thank you.
Everything seemed to be working. I mean, everything seemed to be available for Las Villas del Norte, as they became known. Here's Guerrero, Matamoros, Camargo, and almost every other topic that you can think of, every other city can be found in the public libraries and universities. And of course, Reynosa descendants are a huge part of what is now Northeast Mexico, of what is now South Texas, and really, we're all over the world now. The bottom part, I put Reynosa una flor de, crossed that line and put marzo. The reason is because they did an article in the McAllen Monitor, and they quoted me as having said something about the Mayflower. And then I thought, well, it's not really our Mayflower, because that was a completely different event. So I ended up calling it March flower, because Reynosa was founded in March. So that's why I ended up with that. The resources for the book came from the underlined section there, the University of Texas. I have, it's not a secret, Pan Am hosts the images to where I compiled the book from. And Pan Am, therefore, is the #1 resource, and that's why I have it underlined with a little 1 right here. I put an asterisk up here. That should be the #1 resource to research Reynosa. However, it's difficult to go to Reynosa, as everyone knows. And then I tried reaching out through different means to them, email, phone calls, people that knew people. I never got a response, so it's still an asterisk. I've also found materials, not necessarily for the book, at the University of Texas at Austin. That's my #2 place that I like. And #3, I like family research. The rest are important for developing family histories for people that live, mainly for people that live on where we live, South Texas. For this section, I'm calling it a quick history. And the purpose of depicting the arrowhead is to show that before any colonization efforts by anyone were done, of course, people already inhabited these lands in one form or another. So I don't think it's appropriate for us to not recognize that. And here, this is my way of recognizing. The section about the general history, I try to condense it about what is traditionally put out there in terms of how this area was colonized. And I'm calling it a myth versus reality section. I have to qualify these statements by saying that this is my research, this is my opinion, this is my view based on the research. It doesn't mean that you have to agree with me, and this is not anything other than my interpretation. So one of the things that's commonly found is that Escandon, if you go to, backtrack, if you go to the official Tamaulipas website, they will tell you that Escandon left Querétaro with 2,000 settlers, 2,000 plus settlers. That's an example. Universities have that information, books have that information. A lot of people have bought off on that. Escandon Moses leading the Egyptians out of, in a mass exodus. The next part is Nuevo Santander is founded by Spaniards, another common theme that's pretty traditional. Escandon is recognized as the founder of Reynosa, which that's pretty non-controversial, right? He deserves that credit in one way or another. That a lot of things that I've picked up are a lot of people say, well, we come from prestigious families. So, and the last thing that I have here is I'm calling it Southsiders. And there always seems to, at least in my experience, that people said, well, there was this side and there was that side. And people from Mexico are from that side. So that's what I mean by Southsiders. Regarding Querétaro, and I'm going to go through this kind of quickly. The original Reynosa family, based on the documents that are available that anyone can read in many different locations, were from El Nuevo Reino de León. It was the Nuevo Reino de León was here before Nuevo Santander. So the people from Nuevo Santander had to have come from somewhere else, and this is where they came from. The other part that I kind of like is this part, which is newer to me because I'm finding documents, and I just explained this a little while ago, that in the 1951, Reynosa was founded in 1949, in 1951, there's documents from witnesses that are saying, I've known this person since 17 years ago at this place. That's way before 1749. So, of course, we also know about the Chapas? Who was here in the ranches in the Mier area? Chapas, Hinocosas. There's families that were here before Escandon. Probably ever heard of the place. All right, so the Reynosa settlers were led by Carlos Cantú. He was elected and recognized and appointed as the captain by Escandon. And Carlos Cantú was from Valle del Pilón, and I'll show a quick map of that that in the future slide. So I have the control right here on it, remember it? That's, the part about the Spaniards being the colonists, I think it's more accurate to say that they were authorized by the Spanish crown and the viceroy and the Council of the Indies and all the institutions that were set up to make it possible. A lot of them were second and third generation families that had already been in Nuevo Leon. And if you follow the genealogy, of course you'll find out that not only were there Spanish people, there was Portuguese people, the original settlers of Nuevo Leon. And we find names like Giuseppe Cantu. Just the name Giuseppe kind of gives you a clue. And of course we have Chiapas, which have a verified connection to what is now Italy. And a couple of Palacios is another. Just by the spelling of the name, if you see it in the documents, it tells you, hey, that's not Spanish. Something else is going on. And of course, here's the section that's often left out, is that a good percentage of the population was already coming in, having intermarried with the native peoples. And not only the native peoples, but when some of the native population was not plentiful for the purposes of the Spanish aim, well, they had to bring people from Africa. Or as is documented in Escandon's Entradas, they found what they believed to be a shipwreck of former African slaves off the coast that were living in an island here, not too far from where we're standing. This section I'm calling it Escandón, because as it turns out, it's been recognized, well, he didn't even go to Reynosa for the founding of Reynosa. Now, he's given the credit because he was the man in charge, but it was kind of surprising because they have a monument of Escandón in a lot of different places, including the main plaza of Reynosa, and he wasn't even there. And you'll see the timeline here. It shows that Camargo was founded on 5 March, followed by 14 March of Reynosa. But Escandón had already departed, going back south from the original route that he took to get up to the Rio Grande. And so he couldn't have been here. And when Escandón did reach Camargo, again, this kind of goes against the Querétaro caravan theory. The people were already settled in, living in their jacales. Most recently, 14 March 2015, this is the Reynosa paper, and this section here is saying, well, Escandón wasn't here. So it's being now shown and recognized, okay, Escandón wasn't here, then who founded Reynosa? And according to the article, they're saying it was Carlos Cantu who did the ceremonial acts. And that's what, a lot of times when they say, who founded Reynosa, they mean like who conducted the ceremony that said, you are now Reynosa. Right? So, I put another little arrow, it's off the slide here, but Reynosa was actually across what is now Reynosa Diaz, which is a little east of what is Diaz Ordaz, but that was a little technicality that I noticed in the article. So who founded Reynosa? It wasn't Escandón. The people are saying it was Cantu, according to the Reynosa paper. I'm going to back up here if I can. According to this article, it says, if it wasn't, it says here, solo el arrojo de Carlos Cantu pudo fundar Reynosa. Means that if it was not for his determination, Escandón kind of took off on everyone. If it wasn't for Carlos Cantu, he was the man of the hour. That's what this article is saying. Escandón was charged with 38 counts of different things trying to remove him from duty. Now, he was a military leader. I'm proposing that if he was a military leader and he was given the charge of founding a settlement and he didn't do it, or he didn't leave the authority to do it, that's a serious charge. In the 38 charges, which I didn't memorize all of them, but he never got charged for such a thing. So I don't think he just left it to the whim of, well, if Carlos Cantu decides to do it, that's fine. Let him take it on. He had to have delegated his authority. Now, there's a couple in the audience that know the answer to what's coming, so no spoilers, please. Carlos Cantu, again, he was elected and appointed captain. And the captains did perform the ceremonies, but usually they were on the receiving side. They were on the kind of said, yes, I solemnly swear, and I take the land for the king. And someone else is saying, do you do this for the king, right? So someone was in a better position than Carlos Cantu to be given Escandon's authority. Here it is. There's a man. This is an actual drawing. I think it's either from a dissertation or from a Camargo archives book. And I just gave the biggest clue, didn't I? This found Reynosa got this cool attire. That's not his name. That's referring to his cape and his buccaneer cabin. I have some pajamas like that, by the way. So this, according to the author, was done in 1767. And here he is. That a good drawing? I'm going to go back, and here's another little picture clue. Rio de San Juan. Rio de San Juan is where Camargo is located. So how do we know this? Simón del Hierro, he was a priest who accompanied Escandón on his tour, and he kept a diary. He wrote a lot of stuff, including some stuff that got Escandón in trouble later. And I'm calling it a historic announcement because it's kind of new. And it's my view. This could be information that is disputed at some other point at some other time. But the best information I have found is that the official founder of Reynosa was not Escandón, it was not Carlos Cantu, it was Ras Maria Bernardo Falcón. The reason we know that is that Simón del Hierro wrote it, and it was additionally recorded by this person right here, Rafael Cervantes Aguirre. And all of this information, which would be a secondary source, came from a book by Maria de Pilar Sanchez. Now, with the friendliness that Google provides, if you Google Rafael Cervantes Aguirre, something very concrete comes up. He was an archivist for the Zacatecan missionaries. You don't get much better connection to an official record than an archivist. So this is where the information comes from. And right here, thank you, insert thunderous audience applause here. I had to manufacture that, but hey. All right. I'm going to skip through this because I want to get to some other more important parts. Prestigious families. Let's just say that there's a lot of records that say these people were poor, they were humble, they were looking for a better opportunity, and there was not a lot of... There's always exceptions. I'm not saying this was true for everybody, but for the most part, they were very poor and they were very humble. And I personally, as it notes here, I'm kind of honored and humbled to know that they went through all the things that they went through to be able to get to like where I happen to be standing today and where we happen to be enjoying this community here. So, a quick map from before as to where people were actually from. Reynosa proper today is right here. The settlement was upriver a little bit. And the places that came from here, the Monterrey, and here's a set, according to Carlos Cantu in his testimony of 1757, he's saying, well, they're from Salinas Hidalgo, they're from Pesquería Grande, which is now Garcia, they were from Cadereyta, and Montemorelos was Valle de Pilon, is this section here. This is where Carlos Cantu is from. And the Valle de Pilon stretches all the way down here because Cantu family were granted through their De Leon connection to the famous General Explorer, they were given land grants that extended all the way up to what is now General Terán and Chima and places like that. And as far as the Southsiders, but these are maps, and I have some on the display here at this table. Feel free to look at them. They're all from different sources, from the 1750 to 1799, let's say, so 1800. They all show the same thing. I have like about a whole collection of maps from that time frame. They all show the river here, and the settlement here, and the settlement here. In a book I acquired recently, Zacatecan Missionaries of Texas, they also mentioned Reynosa having a visita on this side. A visita was a place to where the missionaries would come and they would minister to the people that were in the rancherias on this side of the river. So the settlements absolutely included, not only today, but way before there was ever border patrol and immigration and all this nice stuff we have today. This is the community's layout. And here, who else? What better reference for Texans and United States citizens to know that Esteban, as he is kind of blocked out here by the podium, Esteban Austin was a Mexican citizen who spoke Spanish fluently. And he drew in his maps. This wasn't the only map he made. Here's Nuevo Santander in the pink, and Laredo's here, so that means we're down here. I like this map because it shows travel routes. And I made a little quick thing that there's no sign of Highway 281. One, because of our language. Thank you. George Lopez has a tough job, I have to say. Oops, wrong direction. All right, so to sum it up, the Escandon did leave Querétaro, but those settlers that he did leave with that weren't in the numbers of thousands, they settled the villages that were most closer to Querétaro and in South Nuevo Santander. And the colony was founded by the Spanish crown. Blas Maria de la Garza Falcón, he's one of my personal heroes because we didn't have too many from that time period. But Carlos Cantú and this guy, they definitely qualified. There was a lot of poor families, and the villages were already located on both the south and north sides. We get to this section, to where, take a little break, have some exhibits, have 2 family trees on this side, have the books that you can preview on this side, and the maps over here, and I'll take the break myself to take a little water. Thank you.